Alright, let's lay down the acrylic starting with primary blue, deep green permanent, primary red, cadmium yellow medium, titanium white, and Mars black. Alright, so let's start with our number 6 flat brush, and we will begin by covering the whole canvas with the thin first layer. Now we'll just start applying the colors. Very random, very loose. Just like that. There's no precise strokes here. Don't worry about being neat. We don't need this to look perfect or solid at all. This is just the underpainting, a base. What it really does is help the second layer sit better. So yeah, just relax with this step and enjoy spreading the paint. And then down here at the bottom, we will go darker. Since this is where a grassy field will be, having a nice dark base here is really helpful. It makes the grass stand out more once we start layering the highlights on top. Let's go ahead and start mixing the colors we will need for the second layer. There you go. So using our clean number 6 flat brush, let's start with this lightest tone. Then let's have this pink, muted pink. Keep your strokes nice and horizontal. That's gonna give us a smoother finish here, instead of random strokes that might break the softness. Just like that, sweep it side by side. Nice and easy. Let's start blending in this dark purple. Let the two colors meet and soften into each other, so we get that gradual shift from the warm glow near the horizon to the deeper tones of the night sky. Again, just keep blending it out with horizontal strokes back and forth. That will keep the transition really smooth across the sky, instead of looking patchy. Just keep your brush moving, keep it flowing, so all the colors melt together nicely before they start setting. I think right here, just behind the moon, let's make it a bit lighter. That really help with the glow effect later. Softening it so the moon feels like it's shining out against the sky. Then let's continue layering the darkest tone all around it. Just like that. Alright, so after that, let's grab our number 0 angle brush. Let's load it up with this color. Alright, so for the clouds above, we want them to feel more dramatic, bigger, wider shapes, like they're stretching downward. And for the lower clouds, keep them thinner and more horizontal. And that variation of shapes in the clouds will really help build the depth and perspective. And this angle brush is really perfect for the clouds, because you can use the flat edge for those wider strokes and then tilt it a bit to get sharper, thinner lines. It's kind of like having two brushes in one. Gives you control but still keeps the strokes loose. So let's keep it a bit horizontal in shape. Now let's blend and feather out some of the harsh spots using this darker tone. Just like that, just soften the edges a bit. Let's use this muted teal color. Just soft enough so it doesn't look artificial, but still bright enough to stand out. Keep the strokes light, little broken. Just dab and drag softly, letting the brush create these uneven edges. Now using the same cloud color, let's start laying in these distant trees along the horizon. Just gently dragging the brush here. And don't keep it super flat. Let the brush kinda dance a little as you go. Just like that. Then let's have some slightly closer and bigger trees right here. For this, we will use a darker purple. I'm just kinda smudging the paint with the brush. Alright, so after that, let's clean the brush. So now let's mix the colors we need for the moon. Then let's grab our clean number 0 angle brush. Let's start painting the moon. We'll start with this one, our mid-tone color. And we will just gonna blacken the whole moon flat with it as our first layer. Nothing fancy yet, just a nice even base so we can have something to build on later. The important thing here is to cover the circle neatly and try not to go over the edges. Just keep the paint sitting inside the shape. We want to keep that round silhouette clean. Let's start applying the second layer of the grassy field. We want the farthest section lighter than the foreground. We will just blacken the whole grassy field again. So again, slightly lighter for this farthest section. Just run a clean stroke across where it looks uneven, and that will fix the line right away. Then as we get closer to the foreground, we will deepen it using the same darkest color we use in our sky. This extra contrast will really bring the field forward and make the whole scene feel more three-dimensional. Alright, so now let's grab our small 00 round brush. Let's begin with the shadow color. This light brown for the moon craters. Let's use light dabs and short strokes, almost like tapping or dotting the surface. That way the marks look more organic, like little crater shapes rather than just random spots. So now with the clean round brush, let's load it up with this light yellow and start painting the moon highlights. We will layer this mostly over that yellow mid-tone base. And on the edges, just carefully follow the roundness of the moon. Slow and steady strokes. That's what will keep the circle nice and clean. So now let's grab our clean angle brush and let's start adding the deepest shadow in the foreground. For this, we'll use pure black. Let's wet the brush a bit so it flows smoother. So what we're gonna do here is laying down that extra layer of deep shadow to make the highlights really pop later on. So just move the brush up and down, almost like you're sketching the suggestion of blades of grass. Don't cover the whole area. Leave some of that base layer showing through. And don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be super thin or perfectly shaped. Alright, so now let's grab our clean 00 round brush and start painting the grass details. Start with this darkest mix. For the strokes, just curve them naturally, flicking in different directions. Some bend left, some bend right. Don't keep them all standing straight up. Grass always grows in random motion. So the more variation you add, the more natural it feels. So just let the brush glide, light hand, almost like you're letting the brush do the work for you. The less pressure, the more natural and airy the blades will look, like they're swaying in the night breeze. Now we'll start layering more grass, this time using the lighter gray. So I'm just overlapping some of the darker strokes underneath. And this layering is what makes the field feel layered and full, instead of flat. And again, as you do this, try to vary the direction and height of your flicks. Some leaning left, some right, some a bit short, some tall. You know, that randomness really mimics how grass grows in clumps. Alright, so after that, let's grab our angle brush. And with the darkest mix on our palette, we will start shaping the silhouette of the Scarecrow. So let's start shaping its head with a hat on top. So keep the stroke simple and bold. Just block it in. And remember, this doesn't need to look like a perfect mannequin. The Scarecrow is supposed to feel rough, tattered, and uneven. So now let's switch over to our small round brush. And we'll start refining the details of the Scarecrow. You know, with this brush, we can get smaller, sharper strokes that really clean up the edges and add a little more personality to the silhouette. Alright, so now let's start painting the glowing eyes on our Scarecrow. So let's mix the colors we need for that. Alright, so now let's grab our angle brush and start with the base layer of the glow, using this muted red-orange. Let's just cover most of the face area with it. This will act as the base glow coming out from the eyes. And now using this yellow-orange, and let's paint the glowing eyes. Be very careful here. Use just the very tip of the small round brush and don't apply too much pressure. We're aiming for a small almond or oval shape. Alright, that looks great and spooky. Now going back to our angle brush, let's start painting the glow of the Fireflies. Let's start with this yellow-orange, but just a really thin amount of paint. Don't want to cover the canvas with solid patches. And also remember, keep the size varied. Some can be a little larger in the foreground, while the ones farther away should be smaller and softer. And don't place them evenly spaced either. Try clustering a couple close together and then leaving some gaps. That randomness makes it feel natural, like they are drifting around in the night air. Alright, and now let's switch over to our small round brush. Now we will paint the actual light of the Fireflies. This will be the tiny bright dot sitting right at the center of the glow we just created. Just touch the very tip of the brush to the canvas. No need for pressure. Just a gentle, tiny dot. Keep them small and sharp so they stand out against our hazy glow underneath. So let's load our small round brush with pure black. So now just slightly drag the brush across. Keep it to one stroke. Try not to go back and forth over the same line. And for the thinner, smaller branches, Start with really light pressure, especially for those outer branches that stretched out and fade into the sky. So again, thinner strokes for the outer branches. Wiggle the brush a bit as you drag it. Then as you move inward toward the base of the tree, add a bit more pressure. That extra pressure will naturally thicken the stroke, giving us that sturdy look for the inner branches. Let's make sure to add a few more smaller branches crawling out from every main branch. Don't leave them too bare. Those little offshoots are what make the tree look eerie and spooky. You don't want them all the same length or direction. That crooked, tangled look is what makes the branches feel like they're reaching out, almost crawling into the scene.